Good evening. Welcome to Sunday night Satsang with John and
Michelle. Hi, everyone.
Michelle. Sorry we didn't get to speak with you last week. We didn't get to do our Satsang with you. We were away and the reception was very, very poor. Tonight we've also got a bit of an issue in that we've got load shedding.
But I think most of the country's got load shedding.
Yeah, that's right.
Stage 4 or something.
So hopefully we get a few people joining us.
Yeah, so we're going to try, see how far we go with signal.
Signal, because sometimes the tower goes down a bit. So let's just see. We've got signal at the moment. So hopefully we're going to be able to stay with you for the next hour. As we always say, please can you just let us know where you are watching from and who you are. And if you enjoy what we have to share, please send us a few hearts. We love getting those hearts. And press the like and the share button so that this helps get this video, this satsang, out into a broader audience. What are we talking about tonight?
Illusion. What are we talking
about?
Delusion. I suppose it could be delusion. Yeah, dissolving illusions.
Dissolving illusions.
That's what we're talking about.
And hello, Merlene. And why are we talking about that tonight?
Well, it's sort of tied in a little bit to the theme of the full moon that we've just had, which is in Pisces, which is very much illusion, and it's letting go. It's letting go of all the things that we believe to be true that aren't really true.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happening at the moment in our lives.
Thank
you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. That's lovely. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Let's just wait for a few more people to join before we start this evening. And we'll start with a centering, a meditation, as we always do. And we end with another one, which Michelle gives. So you got me in the beginning and Michelle at the end.
Hi, Stella.
Hello,
Hi,
Stella.
Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
Good to have you with us.
Yes, hi, Taylor. Who's that?
That's Sure.
Sure, okay.
Move, breathe, heal, enjoy. I love it.
Sure. Hello, Sure. Yeah. Hello,
Christine.
Hi. Hi.
Lovely to have you guys with us.
Yeah, thank you for the hearts.
Oh, we've got other things coming out there.
Lots of hearts coming up there. Thank you, Christine. That was from Christine. Thank you and welcome. Yeah. So while we've got quite used to load shedding in South Africa, we see that Europe is going to be experiencing some of that as well. So Christine, hopefully you're prepared with your battery packs and your light bulbs that work on batteries and things like that.
Get tips from South Africans.
Yeah.
We're very used to.
We'll write in how to book.
Yeah, how to deal with load shedding.
We'll sell so many to Europe to the Europeans.
Alison, hello Sonia.
Yeah.
Good to be with you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Interesting times we're in. That's that old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. Well, we certainly are experiencing that, and thank you for those hearts. We certainly are living through very interesting times, and this is a time of reassessment, of reevaluation. And part of that reassessment and reevaluation is what are our beliefs? What are the illusions that we are so enamored with? And is it time to let go at the moment? Is it time to let go of everything that doesn't serve us? So that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. Dissolving illusions. So let's just settle down, shall we? Yeah, Christine might have some candles. That's it. There used to be the old joke about Africa. What did Africa do before candles? Well, they had electricity. And that's going to be the same joke now for the Europeans. What do they do before candles? They had electricity. Yeah, lovely. Right, so let's just settle down and let's start this evening by bringing ourselves into the present moment. The present moment is the only reality that can be directly experienced. So let's just settle back into our chairs. Maybe if you like, gently close your eyes. Hopefully you've made arrangements that you won't be disturbed for the next little while. And just gently close your eyes. Become aware of the present moment. And one of the things that normally bring us into presence quite quickly is by taking a very deep breath. They say it only takes one deep conscious breath to come back to reality. So take a very deep breath in and release it, let it go. And as you release the breath, just relax your shoulders. take a second very deep breath in, but this time push your tummy out like a big ball as you breathe in. So that means you're breathing from the diaphragm, not from the shoulders. And then as you breathe out, make the out breath twice as long as the in breath. Just let it all go, let it all go, let it all go. Let's try a third deep breath in again, breathing into the belly. So you're blowing your tummy up like a big ball, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then let it go. Long, long, long out breath. Just release everything that doesn't serve you in this moment. Just withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places. Just become centered in the here and now. Becoming aware of the chair you're sitting on. Becoming aware of where your feet are resting right now. Become aware of how your body feels in this moment. Do you have any aches or pains or itches in your body right now? Just be aware of it, that's all. Be aware of where your hands are resting right now. You might like to say thank you to the hands for the dexterity they have given you today, for all the benefit that they have been to you today. Imagine trying to drink a cup of tea or coffee without hands. Now become aware of everything you can hear. Listening is another powerful portal into presence. Just to be aware. Just be aware of how the mind listens. The mind listens always in anticipation and the need to understand and the need to label and judge. That's not the listening that I'd like us to do right now. I want us just to listen with an openness, with just an open awareness of what is coming into your field of listening right now. Listen with a sense of quietness within you, with a sense of stillness within you right now. It's stillness that truly listens, not the mind. You don't need to label anything in this moment. You don't need to judge anything in this moment. Just be aware. The same way that you're aware of the chair you're sitting on. No need to judge it. You're just aware of it. You're aware of all the sounds you can hear right now. Bring your awareness back to the gentle flow of the breath in and out of the body. Withdrawing your mind from all other times and all other places and just being here now, in this moment. Listening, being aware of the body. This is real. And in this body, in this moment, your body is alive. The breathing is taken care of by life. The listening is taken care of by life. Life is real. Life is here and life is now. Just become aware of the aliveness in your hands. You might feel it like a tingling sensation, maybe a bit of warmth in the center of your palms. Become aware of the aliveness in your neck and your shoulders. Become aware of the aliveness in your legs, thighs, knees, calves, shins. Becoming aware of the aliveness in your feet, in your toes. Just being aware. Now bring your awareness to your eyes. Just see if there's any tension around your eyelids, little muscles around the eyes. Just relax them and see if you can see any pictures behind your eyelids right now. Using the power of imagination, see if you can bring into your vision a beautiful candle. Just become aware of the flickering of the plasma of the flame. Notice the color in your imagination of the flame. Notice how the color changes the closer it gets to the wick. Notice the radiance of light leaving the candle and moving out into the surrounding space. Picture this light from the candle igniting the light in the world, radiating light to this planet, dissipating the darkness. It only takes one small candle to light a hall. The light never fights the darkness, doesn't have to. For darkness is just the absence of light. And what the world needs right now is light. And through the power of imagination, visualization, intention, we radiate light into the world. We connect this candle flame now to our hearts. And we color this beautiful light radiating out into the world with love. Love is a radiance of oneness, of acceptance, of embracing, being connected to all that is. And we feel that from the center of our hearts. We give thanks for this beautiful planet, for all the experiences that we have on her. We give thanks for the beings of light that are here at this time, guiding and protecting. We give thanks to ourselves for the courage to be here at this time, on this planet of transformation, as we go through this healing process. Now we take a very deep breath in again. Very deep breath in. Blowing your tummy up like a big ball. And a long breath out. Let it go. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes and to see how you feel in this moment. You feel a bit more centered, a bit more present, a bit more enlivened with life.
That was really lovely.
Thank you for being with us tonight for our Sunday night satsang. And tonight we're talking about dissolving illusion.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Lovely to see some familiar people here.
Hello, Linda and Cecilia.
Cecilia.
Yes. Hello. What's happening in the stars?
There. Well, there's quite a lot. There's always a lot.
What's happening in the heavens?
So we just had a big full moon.
Yep. We noticed that. We were on a farm this weekend and we had the most beautiful full moon on Saturday. We had a fire outside and
yeah, it was gorgeous.
The moon rose over the mountains.
Yeah, so the main thing is that now we're on a waning cycle, so we're letting go, we're releasing from after full moon, the moon wanes down to new moon, and when it wanes, it's time to let go, release. And this is very strong at the moment. We have 5 planets retrograde, which means that there's there's that energy of not too much forward motion. There's a lot of releasing, reflecting, reviewing, kind of reassessing who we are, where we are. And just, that's what the energy is. So there's a lot of letting go at the moment. And when John and I were chatting, we kind of said, there's so many illusions that we have either been programmed to believe, or we do believe, or we've always been taught. And I believe that this is a massive time of really looking very, very closely at our illusions and seeing what really isn't true, so that we can actually break through and rebirth ourselves into who we really are. That's what these times are about. So a lot has been removed from us. A lot of what we thought was real and thought was true is turning out not to be. A lot of people are struggling right now in many ways, whether it's financial or physically, or in relationship. And it's really a time of testing for our inner strength, for our inner connection. That's the way I see it. So the next couple of weeks, and I think that we're leading into, I think September, sort of end of September and October are going to be very interesting months on our planet. So I think this is a little bit of a preparation time for us to clear that which we don't need, so that we're actually really strong and centered.
Do you see that in the stars?
I do see some, there's an alignment that's been around for nearly over a year now, between Saturn and Uranus, which is the old and the new. The old way of doing things, the traditional way of doing things, versus the new, versus the sort of the new earth, if you like. Old laws, old authoritarian figures, all of that on the one side, and the arising of human consciousness on the other side. And we've seen that play out over the last 2 years very clearly. And the final, what we call a square, so the final connection between those two planets is in October.
Okay.
So that's what we've been feeling energetically for about a year now, a year and a half. And then before that was Pluto and Saturn.
Yeah.
So it's the collapse of the old structures.
Yeah.
So I think we're still experiencing that, and we're still going to experiencing. I think there's going to be a lot more protests and a lot more, a lot more drama.
A lot more drama, and
not to sound like negative, but that's what's happening. If you look at what's actually happening, not the mainstream news, but if you look elsewhere, you'll see what's actually happening on the planet.
Happening.
Huge food shortages. And this is also about finding our new way, our new communities, a new way of looking after ourselves, a new way of cooking food, finding power. Really, I think that's what we are opening up to.
Yeah. So Linda says, "Is it going to be more tough?" And that question really is dependent on how we resist the change that's taking place, and how we cling on to that which is old and dysfunctional and which needs to leave. And that's part of tonight's talk, is really looking at illusion. And there are different layers to illusion. The one layer is the illusion that there is something outside of ourselves which is responsible for our health and our wellness and our security. There's something outside of ourselves that is responsible for giving us love. And that level of illusion, I believe, is one of the most difficult ones to see through, because we've been programmed to believe that we are what we do, we are what we have, and we are what other people think of us. And so I believe that if we are clinging to that external form for inner validation or inner security, then it can be very tough. It can be very tough for the mind, it can be very tough for the personality, it can be very tough for the ego as those illusions dissolve. One of the biggest illusions that people have is the roles that they have. For example, we have the role of a very important person, or we have the role of mother or father, or the role of teacher or healer or whatever. These are external identities which we have created for ourselves, or other people have put them on us, and we try and live up to those. And we try and find ourselves in terms of those external roles. And that is an illusion, because no, we are not that. We are that ultimately, which doesn't change. And everything in the external world is in the process of transformation, always is. So our roles are changing, our careers are changing, our health, our bodies are changing, etc., etc. So that's one level of illusion which is going to be challenged. I mean, the old illusion growing up was that, the doctor was responsible for your health, and the police were responsible for your security, and the government was responsible for governing. And we're having to face the fact that that is not true. The medical system are not really interested in our welfare and our health, that the police are not really there for our security, and the government is definitely not there for our benefit. So that's part of a macro disillusionment which is taking place. We're having to let go of those old beliefs about the external world. And then we have deeper internal illusions which we hang on to, which we'll have a look at as well tonight.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest illusions is that we are separate, isn't it?
That is it.
That we are probably the illusion.
Yeah.
Is that we are separate. Whether we are separate from the Creator, from the Divine, whatever you'd like to call it. So therefore we are less than, useless, weak, little ants running around. That we're separate. And that we're also separate from each other. And if you look at much of the conditioning is, especially right now, is to actually separate us even further. So, that I'm separate from you, and you're a man and I'm a woman, and you're this color and I'm that color, and you live here and I live there. And the more separate we become, the more fear there is, the more illusion there is, because it's an illusion. That's the greatest illusion of all. So I think that's the biggest illusion. And I think when we are in illusion, when we're in the illusion of being separate, then we will be fearful of anything that threatens that sense of who we think we are. And then we're going to be living from false evidence appearing real, which is fear. We're going to fear that we're going to lose the role, or the home, or the money, or the relationship, or the job. And that's what really underlies most of us, because we've been conditioned to believe that. We've been conditioned to believe that the job will make you secure. The house will make you secure. The person that you're with will validate you. As John said, the government will look after you. What are our illusions? And I think it's really handy to ask what the question is. So when we ask a question like, is it going to get worse? Who's asking the question? That's a good question to ask. Who is asking that question?
Is it the fearful self? Is it the little self? Is it the vulnerable self that's wanting to know that? Or is it is it who you really are? And it's that little perceptual shift that can make this a very easy ride. I remember years ago about having a dream about going over a waterfall. And I believe that humanity, each one of us and collectively, are going over a waterfall of transformation. And we can go over the waterfall kicking and screaming and having a terrible time, or we can go over in exhilaration. Wonderful. I mean, how magical is this? That is our creation. That we're going over the waterfall is not necessarily our creation. I believe it is our highest creation, but it's not our creation here on earth. But how we experience that we go over, as we go over that waterfall, that is our creation here as humans. That is our creation. And Michelle mentioned earlier about false evidence appearing real, fear. And fear is the biggest illusion. Fear is illusion. That's exactly what it is. Fear is the belief in illusion. That's what fear is. And I've said before, and I can see it, that we are going through a split at the moment. There are two paths. The one path is pretty much in alignment with where we've come from, and that is the path of fear. false evidence appearing real. And then there is the realization that, hang on, there is another path. The other path has always been there, and there are very few people who took this other path in the past. But I believe it's now becoming more evident that we can all take this path, and that's the path of love. And as Michelle said earlier, fear is about separation. It's about vulnerability. It's about the little me. Love is the path of connection. And if you just look at the way the world has been built, it's been built on separation. My religion versus everyone else's religion. My race versus everyone else's race. My gender. Even, for example, my company. My company has to fight every other company out there in order to survive. And that is all based on that sense of separation. That phrase, Ubuntu, I am because you are. That is the truth. And if you look at science, the way science has been constructed, it's all we are here and we're trying to dominate the world out there. We're using science to dominate nature under the illusion that I am separate to life. I am separate to nature. We're not. We are life. We are nature. We are each other. We are all one. We're all different facets of individualized focus, of consciousness. But consciousness itself is all one. We are all one. And love is the recognition of that oneness, where fear is the perception of separateness. And I believe that's the fork that we're going through at the moment, to choose. We made this choice many times before, and possibly we have made the choice that's brought us a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and karma. And that is the choice of false evidence appearing real, which is vulnerability. And now we've been given the opportunity to choose again, to choose more wisely, to choose love rather than fear. Fear is the illusion, love is the reality. And that is the biggest choice that we get to make at this time.
I agree with you. And I think that also, I think one of the illusions and one of the fears that we have is that things are going to change, that we won't be able to cope, that we're going to die is a huge fear. Well, we are.
What?
We are.
What?
I'm afraid to say, don't want to break it to you, but yeah.
We're going to die.
So
That's
it's
terrifying.
one of those, it's to actually look. I think the way of moving through fear is to see it, to look at it, to face it. Years ago, I was in hospital and I got water on the lung for some unknown reason, and a very close friend of mine came and did a healing session with me the night before I was going to go and have a biopsy to see what was wrong with me. And I remember her saying to me that I was really, really scared at that point. I didn't know quite what I was scared about, but I was very scared. And she said, so part of your healing journey is to walk into the middle of that fear. Face the fear. So if it's the fear of death, then face the fear of death. If it's the fear of being alone, face the fear of being alone. If it's the fear of pain, face that. Because once you face it, you realize that it's actually an illusion. And it dissolves. As soon as you're not prepared to face it, that fear is going to take over. So, and I think this is a time when people's fears are raging, because there are a lot of people, many people, most people that we know are either battling in some way, as I said before, and they are fearful that they're going to X, Y, Z, lose that, not be able to do that, or whatever it is. And it's an unconscious thing very often, but it's defining their lives and their reactions and how they're actually engaging in the world. And as soon as we're fearful, we can be controlled. As soon as we're fearful, we lose our power. So it's just to see that and to say, where am I placing my focus? As John said, am I putting it in that fear basket, or am I placing it in the love basket? Love meaning I'm always safe, I'm whole, I'm complete. Nothing can happen to me, to the real me, to the big me. Nothing can happen. I'm infinite. I'm an infinite point of light, as John said. So where are we coming from with our fear? Because fear is an illusion. And when you face it, as I say, it very often, most often, dissolves.
Yeah, if you want to know where your biggest illusions are, look where your needs are. If you have the need for security, there's illusion sitting there. If you have a need for love, there's illusion sitting in there. You, your true essence, is one with all that is. That's your true essence. And that is love. So you are love. No one can give you what you already are. People can only give you something on the outside, and then that can be taken away from you. Not only can it, it will be. Everything that comes to you in time leaves with time. Everything that's born dies. And that shocking thing that Michelle said earlier about, yeah, we're all going to die. Well, the only thing that can die is that which is born. Only that which is born dies. And if we are so convinced we are this body, this what I call a meat suit, we are our personality, we are our achievements, we are our roles, well, all of that is going to die because all of that was born. But you are that which has not been born. You are that which has always, always been here, always present. You can't die. You are life. Only that which you have dies. Your body, your personality, your careers, your relationships, your roles, they will all die because they were all born. But that which wasn't born is here and present. That is life. That is love. And that is it's the awareness beyond the illusion, beyond the matrix. The matrix is the illusion. And the matrix, the illusion is made up of something called time. That's what the illusion is. It's all time. Anything that appears in time will disappear in time because that's the nature of time. Only that which doesn't appear in time cannot die. And if you just think of your own self-identity, if it is based in time, if it's based in history, if it has a story attached to it, that's the illusion. And yes, that's going to die. That's going to be challenged. And if your salvation is based something in time, like the future, I'm going to be happy when I meet the right mate, when I have the right career, when I have enough money secured in the bank, when I have the right body, then you are looking once more to illusion for your fulfillment. And wherever there's a need for time, there's illusion, and the ending of every illusion is disillusionment. And what normally accompanies disillusionment is pain and suffering, more pain and more suffering. Only by finding that which is always here, always present in violet, that's where illusion ends. Finding what is real. And we did that in the opening meditation. We found what was real, what was here. Underneath the breath, there was awareness. Underneath the awareness of the chair or the body, there's awareness itself. You are awareness. Awareness is life. Awareness is unconditioned consciousness. That's real. Love is real. All else is an illusion. And that's really what we're going through. So the more we cling to the external forms of life for our sense of self, the more we're going to suffer. And it will be tough. It will be very, very tough as we move through these times of uncertainty and challenge. And this is always to remember, the biggest choice that we get to make in each and every moment is between illusion and truth. Fear is illusion. Love is truth. And that's the only choice you've got to worry about moment to moment to moment. Every moment, are you choosing to feed your awareness into false evidence appearing real? Or are you choosing to feed your awareness into what is real? And love is real. Love is the ending of all illusion. It's a sense of oneness in your awareness. It's the knowing. It's not a belief. All beliefs, I believe, are just maps of reality. And as such, they will end because they're not real itself. They're just maps. So don't cling to beliefs, but come back to love. Love isn't a belief. It's a direct experience of life in this moment.
And I think that I think very often we, on this journey, I mean, if you're tuning into this live, then you're on this journey. We would have at some point asked the divine or asked God for spiritual awakening or enlightenment, or to be more aware, or to be more connected. And when we ask that, we are asking the biggest question, and we're setting in motion events that we could not even conceive. Because what's going to happen when you ask that question is that every illusion that you've ever had is going to be shown to you. Because otherwise, how are you going to awaken? How are you going to actually really see who you really are? Unless those illusions fall away from you. You're not going to ever awaken. So very often we'll be on this path and we'll say, it's so tough. Because we asked for that. We asked to actually be awakened. And awakening is coming awake from the illusion. It's waking up to the fact that we are not separate. And sometimes that comes along with pain and suffering, because the separate us is suffering and is in pain and is anxious, and it's unbearable. So the more unbearable that becomes, and the more you face your illusions, the harder it is, until you have a breakthrough, and then you rebirth into the true you, who you really are. And I believe that's kind of, I don't know if I've explained it, but that's how I see this awakening process. Awakening for most of us doesn't happen in an instant. It happens to a select few people. For most of us, it's a process of awakening. And it's a process of seeing the illusion, and the illusion is fear, is seeing our fears and going, wow, that's still there. That's a really big fear, and not being judgmental about that. Not saying, oh, well, that's stupid, I should be there and I'm not. No, right now, in this moment, I have this fear. Okay, I see you. I see you, fear. Are you real? And it depends where you're coming from, who's asking the question. That's awakening. That is what awakening is, I see.
Yeah, and as we said many times before, it's easier to wake up from a nightmare than a comfortable dream. And many people are choosing not to awaken at this time. And so their experience, their direct moment-to-moment experience, is going to become more and more difficult. Yeah. It's going to turn into a bit of a nightmare to incentivize their own awakening. But I believe that those who are choosing to awaken, those who are choosing to surrender to life and the process of life, those who are willing to give up their attachments, they will find life a very different experience to those that are clinging to the old. So this is almost like a splitting in the earth at the moment. So we're going to have those who are finding life is not that difficult. Life is actually all right. And there are those who are going to go through major challenges, major challenges. And the reason, again, is because it's easier to wake up from a nightmare than a comfortable dream. I believe that this time is a time of trusting life and surrendering to the present moment and to what the present moment is giving you, because that is the only way you're not going to suffer.
Yeah.
Suffering is always a resistance to what is. If you're suffering right now, it's because you have a fat, big no sitting inside you, or many no's sitting inside you, and you're tying knots, and life can't flow freely through you. That's what a knot is. It's a knot, it's a tie. And so the way we undo those knots is to say yes to the pain that we're experiencing in this moment, yes to the anxiety, yes to the fear. If you say yes, you open, you dissolve that from your awareness. Suffering, again, is caused by resistance. It's caused by clinging to ideas and beliefs that no longer serve you or no longer real in your life. And the way through that is to say yes to the pain that I'm experiencing now. Say yes to the result of the previous no. The result of the previous no is the pain that you're experiencing now, the suffering that you're experiencing now. And how do we get through that? We say yes to what is. Whatever is arising in the present moment, step back into yourself. Step back into presence and say yes to this moment. That is what's going to get us through these times of challenge and change.
Completely agree with you. And I think that it's also about opening and closing. it's as soon as we're in resistance, we're closing. We're saying it shouldn't be like this. So, for example, Gert has just asked a question there. You know, I shouldn't be in this mushy stage. Let's just say, for example, I should be moving forward. There's a resistance to it, as opposed to this is where I am. And I know so many people, us included, who are in a state of transition physically in terms of where we're going to live and all of that. And it's uncomfortable for the little self, for the one who's always had a plan of where to go and what you're going to do next. So therefore, that is what's supposed to be happening. So if we can open more to it and resist less, it's going to be a lot easier to traverse that whatever that is. Because as soon as you go into resistance, you're blocking it. You're saying no. As John said, it's a no. As soon as you say yes, you're opening. And when you open, you're surrendering. You're saying, this is the way it is. I accept that this is the way it is. And that I'm being led. I'm being guided. I'm being shown the way. And then you go with what's being shown to you next. And it's almost like a lot of people that we know in our circles and stuff have no idea of where they're going to live, what they're going to do for a living. There's an uncertainty. And that's testing, because it's saying, okay, can you actually embrace uncertainty? Can you just say, right, I'm going to be right here, right now, fully open to what's happening. And I'll take the next step when I need to take the next step, as I need to take it, without knowing what the big picture is, you know, without having a roadmap. So, and I'm seeing that all the time with clients and with people that we're with, and with our own lives as well, is the more you can open to it, the more, as John said so wisely, the more you step back. We're used to stepping forward, pushing forward. What's next? What's next? What's next? That is the conditioning. That's what we've always been told. If somebody meets you, they say, so where are you going next? What are you doing next? What's your year's plan? What's your 5 years plan? I mean, I think it's hysterical, you know, a 5-year plan. I've never had a 5-year plan in my life, but people do. And they ask you what your next step is, because it makes them feel more comfortable. When you say, I really don't know, people get very uncomfortable. But don't you think you should have a plan? Well, we all know what happened to our plans 2 years ago, and what's still happening to plans. So this, I just see this as a massive letting go and surrendering and accepting big time. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm feeling right now in this moment. I'm feeling fear. This is what it feels like in my body. I'm feeling it. I'm opening to it. Oh, and this is a wave of joy. I'm opening to that as well. So not closing to anything, and also not trying to figure it out. Because as soon as you go into the mind, you're going away from the now. You're now trying to figure out the next step.
Yeah, and that's because of the belief in time. And that's one of the illusions that are being shattered right now. So for most people, we've got light back on again now. Most people have looked for their fulfillment and their salvation in time, in the future. And so time is very, very important to a lot of people. And Gerda was saying about, you know, what happens when you go into this place between time. It's like changing gears in a car, and you go from one gear to another gear. You have to go through neutral. And neutral has a particular gift. So you're in one gear and you're moving forward, and then you go into neutral. You're not moving forward. There's nothing driving you anymore. You're disconnected from that engine. That's what it seems like in the moment. And the gift in that is trust. The gift in trust is trust. If you do not trust and you're in that stage between, you will suffer. And so it's a wonderful time to practice trust. And what are you trusting? Not trusting in future. Not trusting in other people to meet your needs. You're trusting in life. You're trusting in reality. What is real? But love is real. What is real? Presence is real. What is real? Life is real. So you're trusting in what is real, not in any illusion. You're not trusting in your beliefs. You're not hoping. There's no hope in reality. There's only presence. And so I think that's part of the gift of being in between. And there are many, many people, as Michelle said, who have dropped the old life. They're either dropping it voluntarily or the old world has been removed from them. And we're stepping into this between stage, and trust is the way through. It's the gift. It's the learning curve while we're in this in-between stage. Trust, not in time, but trust in life, in presence.
Yeah, and it's not trusting in a person or a situation to make it better, or trusting in the situation to be perfect. It's just trusting in the life, in life, trusting in the process. Trust the process.
Yeah.
That we are in process.
Yeah.
And that it's unfolding as it should, and as it needs to, and that we are complete and we are whole and we are supported. Yeah. That's the reminder.
Yeah. So we used to trust in the horizontal plane, in time and predictability and security in time. And now we are moving into the vertical plane, which is presence. And now we trust in what is rather than what could be or should be or might be. We're trusting in life itself. Life is always present. Life doesn't go into the past. Life can't go into the future. Life can only ever be here now. And that is the greatest truth. It's just a shift in perception. And that's the gift of this in-between time that we're going through, is instead of trusting in the progression of information in a linear way, we start to trust in life, which is always here. And it's totally dependable. Totally dependable. Your future isn't. Your future is unknown and uncertain. But life is here and now. You don't have a life. You are life. You can't lose your life because you are life. You can only lose that which you have. So the fear in death is the belief in illusion. It's the belief that you have something to be lost. You have life to be lost. That's an illusion. You are life. It's waking up to who and what you really are. It's what Michelle said earlier. It's the realization of who you really, really, really are. You are life. Not what you've accumulated in life. Not what you've achieved in life. Not what people think of you in life. That's not life. That is just opinion. That's just illusion. You are life. You are presence. You are love. That's the truth. And as we wake up to the truth of who we really are, we will share that light with others, not by doing this, but by being this. And that is the way forward. That's the birth of the new world that's being born now. Very different world to the old world. We're exiting the fourth dimension, the 4 dimensions with 3 of space and 1 of time, and we're entering now into the 5th dimension. Very different paradigm of experience, and it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Yes, it may be very troubling for the mind and the personality and the ego as we go through this in-between stage to get there. The same way a caterpillar has to completely dissolve its old in order for the butterfly to be born. And it must be very troubling for the caterpillar when its legs start dropping off and its feelers start dropping off and start dissolving. But if it's in a state of trust, if it trusts life, it can go over that waterfall, through that transformation with joy in its heart, knowing that everything is perfect.
Yeah, knowing also, I mean, we have been through everything before. Us beings, we have been everything before. We've traversed millenniums. We've traversed everything that one could possibly traverse. And we're still here because we are life. So that's what we're trusting. We're not trusting some future outcome to meet our ego's needs.
Yeah, don't trust the future utopia
we're not
to meet your needs.
trusting that. We're trusting that life is unfolding and that we are life.
Yeah.
And that's getting out of the illusion.
Yeah. And we have 2 turbo boosted opportunities if you want to shift your perception and find out who you really are and just get into the vertical plane more than the horizontal plane. And the one is our online transformational program called Journey to Freedom, which is a wonderful 13 weeks process of surrendering, giving up all those illusions that we have acquired over many, many lifetimes and coming into the vertical plane. We kick off on Thursday night with a free week. It starts with a Zoom meetup on Thursday night, this coming Thursday night, the 15th. And then we have a week of different exercises, programs,
Yeah.
meditations, etc. for you to go through. And then we meet up a week later again on Zoom and go through and check how the week was for you. And that's the first leg of a 13-week program. And you're welcome to do the first week completely free. There's no obligation to continue the journey with us. That's one opportunity. The other opportunity is in 2 weeks' time, we have a retreat, a 4-day retreat in a beautiful, magical power center called Hogsback in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. And that is really an amazing opportunity to shift. Profound shifts happen on that workshop. So you're welcome to come along. We've still got a couple of extra places open. If you want to join us, just email us or send us a message on Facebook, and we will respond and send you the details. The details are all up on our website, journeysofawakening.com.
Yeah, join us. So these are the times. These are the times we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
So these are the muscles that we're building right now.
Yeah. These are the ones these are the times we're waiting for, and we are the ones we're waiting for. We are the ones. We are powerful beyond measure. Powerful beyond measure. We've gone to sleep. We've forgotten how powerful we are. And there are forces out there that would like to keep us asleep, keep us separate from this incredible power of love that we are. And no, but now's the time to choose more wisely than we've chosen in the past.
And the world is going to need awakened people in the years to come.
Absolutely.
And you're all on this group.
Yeah.
You're it.
Yeah.
You're part of our light family.
Yeah.
As John said in his beautiful meditation, one candle lights a hall.
Yeah.
Just one. You just light one candle and it demolishes the darkness. You only need to light one. So how can we shine our light in our own way, in our own small way? It could be just speaking to someone at the supermarket. Just how can we each shine that little light every single day? Because I believe that the more that happens, eventually the darkness just can't survive.
No, it can't survive in the presence of your light.
Yeah.
Darkness cannot survive in the presence of your light. And the light is always, if you can think of it in terms of being, that's what light is.
That's light.
And doing, well, that tends to be driven by fear. If your doingness is driven by love and
Beautiful.
by connection and by joy and by laughter, that's wonderful and beautiful. That's sharing the light. But a lot of doingness on this planet is driven by fear. False evidence appearing real. People do things because they think they have needs that need to be met by their doingness. That's illusion. That is illusion. Now's the time to trust life.
Wow.
Thank you. Do you want to run us off with a meditation? Thank you.
Won't be very long, but I'll end off. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. If you've enjoyed what we've shared tonight, please press the like and the share button.
Really helps.
It really does help get this. What do they do?
I don't know, algorithms or something. John and I aren't particularly good at Facebook algorithms, so we don't know. But they say apparently if you like it and share it, then it goes out to more people.
Just an interesting thing, we've called ourselves Journeys of Awakening, and those words and Journey to Freedom. Those words seem to be a little bit.
I think they're.
They're not exactly enamored.
I think we make it a little bit.
Yeah. But censored a little bit there on those words. Yeah. Thank you for the hearts.
Thanks for the hearts.
Thank you for the hearts. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. All right, let's just settle in and take a deep, beautiful breath in, and then a releasing breath out. And take another deep, long breath in. Let's breathe into the count of 5. And let's breathe out, blow all the breath out to the count of 6 or 7. Let it all out. Let's do that again. Let's breathe in for 4 this time. And let's breathe out for 7. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. As you breathe out, relax your shoulders. Put your shoulders back a little bit. And allow yourself to drop into presence. Beneath the noise. Just to very gently connect with the sounds that you can hear right now. The sounds in your room. And the sounds outside your room. And bring your focus back to the inside of the room. And connect with the sound of your own breathing. This life force that breathes you. You don't really have to do very much. You just have to be here. And the breath comes in and it leaves. And we completely trust that the next breath will be there. Just as we trust that our hearts will continue to beat with no doing from our part at all. That the blood will continue to flow through this body for as long as the body is alive. Just connecting in this moment to this body. To the feeling of the breath coming in through the nostrils and moving through the body. Connecting with the smells that you can smell in this moment. The tastes that you can taste. Focusing on whatever you can see behind your eyes. Whether it's colors or images or light, or maybe it's just a beautiful, serene, dark color. Connecting with your body. How's the body feeling? If you feel any tightness, breathe into that area and just release. And then do that again. Breathe into it and release, and release, and release. Each time we do this, those little knots of resistance start to unravel. Feel what it feels like to bring yourself into a surrendered state. Allow your hands to rest gently wherever they're resting. Allow your body to really start to relax. As if you were floating on a really beautiful, peaceful lake. The water is warm. There's a gentle sun shining on you. And you are floating with your arms out, your hands up, facing upwards. And the water carries you. You can And feel the water moving very gently beneath you. And you know that in this moment you are completely supported by life. You're always supported by life. You're never alone. You are already whole. You are already connected. You are life. You are love. There's nowhere to go. This beingness. In this moment is who you are. Beneath and beyond any illusion. This is true. Let's start taking a few deep breaths in. Deep breath in and out. And staying in this peaceful place. If you like, you can open your eyes. Or if not, just keep them shut.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. Hopefully you are in a very peaceful state now. We've got an affirmation cards here. Let's just see which Michelle is going to choose. What are you going to choose tonight?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yellow. You chose the yellow.
Oh, there we go.
That's wonderful.
That's pretty apt.
Yeah.
I now trust life. How about that, Gerda? I now trust life. I choose to feel no more fear or anxiety. I am now free. How about that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'll photograph that and put it up on the Facebook page and let that be your affirmation for the next 7 days, probably for the next 7 years. But 7 days is good
rest of
enough.
our lives, shall we?
Yeah. Just have that affirmation in your ammunition box so you can bring it out any time that you feel stressed or anxious. I now trust life. Beautiful. Thank you for being with us tonight. Don't forget to go to journeysofawakening.com and have a look at our online program and also the retreat in Hogsback. We'd love to have you with us.
We would. Thanks, everyone.
Lots of love.
Love you all.
Bye
Sleep tight.
tonight.